Get to making with jive, boy, station. When it hits you, yes, indeed. Yes, yes, you shall. When it hits you, yes, indeed. Yes, yes. When it hits you, yes, indeed.
Is it all right? Okay. All righty. Okay. Okay. So we've got 3 minutes to spare. I've got the studio in order. And I want to welcome you to my home. This has been my response to COVID-19. This is what's going on here. This is an actual response to. I'm a recovering drug addict. I've been clean and sober now over 10 years, and around my 9-year, 10th month of recovery, they issued a shelter-in-place order, and it just yanked out my support network right out from underneath me. You got somebody that said, "Hi, Cindy, good to see you." Hi. There you go. My support network got yanked right out from underneath me, and everything that I had been taught for the last 9 years and 10 months disappeared overnight. And it disappeared for a good reason. If you don't buy into the conspiracy theory, okay? We're not going to go there today, okay? We'll leave mental health out of it for just a moment. Just a moment, because, you know, it's always a part of the scheme of things. Anyway, so things started happening, tension, pressure, all kinds of things started unraveling. Never in my wildest dreams did I think, while we were suffering this shelter in place, did I think that the people who are supposed to be serving and protecting us, hi Kathy, how are you doing? That were supposed to be protecting us would dare to turn around and either kill us, neglect us, abuse us in some kind of way. And I say us because I look at African Americans as Americans. I look at Asian Americans as Americans. I look at Cuban Americans, hello, as Americans. This is why I feel that it is an attack by public servants on America. And so things have been unraveling, and there's been civil unrest. And me and Cindy had a conversation earlier today, and I thought it was a very interesting conversation. It highlighted a lot of things that we were discussing. I was here in Los Angeles during the Rodney King riots, and I remember that the entire south end of Los Angeles was pillaged, robbed, burned, and the comments out of the white community was, why did you burn your neighborhood? You should have burnt the white neighborhood. And I think that the African American community listened to that. And hence, Beverly Hills. The situation there was out of control. They robbed the Gucci store, the Louis Vuitton store, the National Guard had to be called up. And let me tell you something about the rich. They're never injured as much as you think they are injured. So, you know, of course they had the National Guard at their disposal. When I don't remember the National Guard being called out when South LA was burning. I don't remember any of that. SWAT, maybe, at best. But they just let them carry on. So, yes, I'm loving the Zoom meetings too. But there's a lot to be said. The thing I miss about the meetings is being able to get a cup of coffee and socialize with my sisters, and you know, to be able to chit chat and catch up with them, and to get a hug. is what I miss
Yeah.
about my support structure, and it got yanked out from underneath me. And thank God for Bo. Bo gets more hugs than he can stand out of me, you know. And I do a lot of walks with him, and it's just, you know, it is a wonderful, wonderful, you know, way of me dealing with this COVID-19 thing. This and my YouTube channel, and the social media things that I've been doing, and all of you wonderful people that have been responding. I'm so grateful. You tuned in. You saved my life. You helped me when I needed you most.
You know, with this whole COVID-19 thing, you know, I would have really thought that, like, who doesn't want to take a 2-month vacation from work? You know what I mean? Like, I would have thought that, you know, we going into the COVID-19 thing, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be at home and it's going to be all good. You know, I don't really, you know, care too much for going out, but I thought it was going to be a perfect opportunity for everyone. You know, you don't even got to go driving to work. It's going to be all great until, like, probably about after the first month. And after that, I started realizing that I am having a one-on-one battle with my disease. You know what I mean? Like, the isolation, the loneliness really started to come in, and then I'm starting to, like, battle with slight depression, and I'm like, what the hell?
Mental health.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I hadn't been working out, and I was like, oh shit, you know, like, it really started getting really bad, and I had to start getting to action, and that's just something that has really saved me from, you know, spiraling out of control. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, and I totally get it. And because our only connection to the outside world right at the moment is via the news. And the news is just miserable. I was watching it this morning, and I was taken beside myself. Let me see if I can find something on Facebook about it. But I heard in Palmdale. Now, I know that territory out there is traditionally white, but they found a black man hanging from a tree. I'm hoping that this is just hearsay of some sort. But let me go ahead and pop open a page here and see if Palmdale hanging. That's the best way I can figure it. Oh, it popped up. I didn't even finish typing in Palmdale. Oh my God. Authorities investigating 2 separate black men found hanging in California. One in Victorville and one in Palmdale. I don't know what's in the drinking water. What is going on? This is just outrageous.
Just so disappointed, like, in this society that we're living in, that we're in the year 2020 and we're still having to hangings. Like, what time period is this? Like, I feel like I've just been set back like 100 years.
I know. No. It is ridiculous. You know, I want to tell you something. June is a month that there have been some massacres that have gone on in June. The one in Oklahoma. See, you were not taught this in American history. I was not even taught this in U.S. history when I took it in college. I learned it in a sociology class. It had okay. Thank you, and let me close that. Oh. So now I'm gonna have to close some of this other crap, because how am I getting all of these notices from other groups? Thank you. No. Okay. So what? I lost my train of thought. You know, I usually silence and mute all of. I'm using a different browser today. I usually mute all of the notices and stuff like that, because for me they come pouring in so fast and it's hard for me to keep up, and sometimes somebody will say something and I got a little bit of OCD, and if you say the right thing to me, you catch my attention and I forget what I'm doing, and I forget that I'm online and that I'm filming, and then later on I edit it all out. But while I'm doing it live, it's a bit of a mess. So okay, so here we are. So I did not learn about the massacre to the African American community in Oklahoma. It happened 99 years ago. I think in 2 days there was such a massacre that happened in Oklahoma that had never seen before on the African American community since slavery and the Civil War. It is just horrendous, and it was done citywide. This is not taught in American history. I think it is a great disservice. There's a lot of things that are not taught in American history. American history does not teach that the Founding Fathers, not only did the Founding Fathers, but consequently every president since then did everything they could up until Theodore Roosevelt to eradicate the Native American population of this country. So just a little FYI so that you understand what our government does with our tax-paying dollars. I am not down with that. So, and the other day, somebody makes a comment to me about Trump is pulling the transgender laws, the Transgender Healthcare. And so let me go find that. Let me go find that exact comment, so that way I can read it verbatim, and I'm not misquoting in some kind of way what was said to me and how I responded. Because see, I think that I operate on a different wavelength than a lot of other individuals. Okay? So, and if you want, you can check it out. It's right there on my Facebook page. And so here it is. Okay. So I posted Trump's transgender healthcare rule means our humanity is not equal. It's a MSNBC, I think it's a video. It's about 8 minutes long. It's on my page. Many of you have liked it, cared about it, and have probably watched it, and you've shared it. An individual, Marcus, he says, it just means he won't pay for your fetish. I don't appreciate a lifestyle being called a fetish, but okay, you're entitled to call whatever it is that you want to call what.
And it's stuff like that make it just so difficult for the transgender community, because the thing about it, a lot of men think of us as a fetish.
Well, they minimize us.
I think that's so degrading and disrespectful.
Sure.
When people think of transgenders, I have feelings, I have emotions. You know what I mean? I'm not somebody's fucking fetish.
You mean you're not a dildo that you can pull out of a bag
No.
and just put away somewhere?
And I think that's just, to think that somebody's a fetish is absolutely just degrading as a human being. And I won't tolerate it. I'm not going to be somebody's fucking fetish. Fuck that. I think it's...
So I decided to engage in the conversation. Probably shouldn't. And mind you, this conversation, he edited it before he posted it. So it probably was a little bit more scathing than that. So it says, my response was, so if I'm having mental health issues about hating my sex organs and thoughts of mutilation, I can't get help. Because originally, as a child, that's what I was going through. I did not like my penis, and I was willing to cut it off and flush it down the toilet, because in my little childlike mind, I believed that once I got to the emergency room, they would say, well, we've got no choice. We'll have to give you a vagina so you can start to pee again. That's my creative thinking. You can tell already. I'm as crazy as Chicken Little, honey. The sky was falling.
I don't see how Franny can engage with some of this stuff, because I'm like, you know, I don't understand. Like, these people don't know what it's like to be a transgender. You know what I mean? Like, they call it a fetish. You haven't walked in our shoes. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what it's fucking like, you know? Psychotherapy, yes, a sex change, that's on you. Well, damn it, you know, we only have one life to live. You don't know what it's like to walk in our shoes, you know? I mean, like I said last week, if you cannot put money on the price the way I feel about myself today, you just can't do it. You know what I mean? And if I you know, honestly, like, I think all this is a distraction, you know, from a bigger picture. You know, I really think that the transgender healthcare and all this is just something, because I think Trump is really up to doing something else dirty. You know what I mean?
Well, so this is what I know about money and politics and about government. Okay, they don't allocate money for issues until they've done some type of research. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something about the pile of money, taxpayer dollars, that sits around in surplus. Okay? If it doesn't get spent, I know that these crooked motherfucking politicians, and if you don't think that they're crooked, you just take a good look at Mr. Donnie Trump there and think about that one more time. If you don't think that they're crooked and that they're skimming all them taxpayer dollars and funneling it towards interests and organizations that benefit them and their friends, you've got another thing coming. So I don't listen. When I went through my gender affirming surgery, I was working at the time. I had insurance. I had healthcare. I had a means and ways and ability to not only pay for my surgery, but the standard of care requires. See, there are girls that are homeless that are trying to get this surgery, and they get denied for this surgery because you have to be able to have an apartment. You have to be able to have a clean environment in which to heal from. There is so much more involved than just a surgery. And it is a very time-consuming process. It does not happen where you just check into the hospital, they whack off the meat, and then you go right back to whatever it is that you were doing before. It is a lengthy little process. It does not happen overnight. And so, you know, I got into this little, you know, tiff with Marcus, and so I decided to also interject that this is not happening only to the transgender community. So it is also happening to the heterosexual community, and it's happening to them in a different way. So he's pulling money from abortion clinics. He doesn't like abortion clinics. And see, I don't like regulating doctors through government. For me, that's just a messy kind of business. It's personal and private. I think that they should just allocate those funds for healthcare and keep their noses out of what's being done for who. None of their business. It's kind of personal. But I did make this comment. Yeah, and he doesn't want to pay for the abortion of the girl who got pregnant during a rape. Or it might be better if we just keep her and the baby on food stamps and Medicaid. Here in California, I found out it's Medi-Cal, until it's 18. Now, mind you, this doesn't happen all the time, but some women do become pregnant during a rape, and they abort the fetus. I personally have my own personal feelings about abortion. They're my feelings. I don't necessarily like the idea, but it does not have any bearing on what a woman should do, because what my feelings are has nothing to do with one woman's body or the next woman's body, because my feelings are irrelevant in this situation. And just like Marcus's feelings are leaning all the way to the left because he ain't right, they're his feelings. And I can respect that he's entitled to his feelings. And I'm going to say this right here, right now. I support your right to dislike whatever it is that you dislike. But the minute you raise your hand to try and do something about it, or to try and stop it, that's where my support ends. I just, I may engage in these conversations, and you may take a piece of me with you. You might even take a piece of my breath away. But I support the right of free speech. I love that about our Constitution. What I don't like is that right to bear arms. And the way that we have been using that particular right. And I'm the two hangings that we just talked about here in California, I am just beside myself. Number one, I don't believe that people should... I travel alone all the time. Well, I don't. I travel with Bo. I travel with my dog, and God help the individual that thinks they can raise their hand to me in front of this dog. Because in a moment's notice, this dog will change and snap. I remember when I first got the dog, the vet looked at me and said, "Oh, you should be careful with this type of animal. They are known to turn on their owners." And I said, they said the same thing about me. And he looked at me and he said, "What did you just say?" And I said, "Don't worry about the dog. The dog is going to be fine." I have shown this dog nothing but absolute love and attention. And I believe that this dog will show me the very same thing back. So anyway, enough about Marcus. Your energy to educate anyone, namely anyone who would sooner see you be someone else than to see a world. Oh, I'm reading. Thank you, Daryl. I love you. That was very sweet of Daryl. Okay. I'm going to need a new mouse. So, let's get back to some of the topics that I did post that I would like for us to be discussing today. Okay. And we are 20 minutes into the show. And I don't know if you guys noticed some of the photography artwork that I posted. I don't mind you catching me without makeup. I don't mind looking a little, what would you call this look? Cubism? Is that cubism? I think. Salvador Dali-ish.
Is that you too?
Yeah, that's me.
Here and here?
Yeah, here and here.
Okay.
And that's my hand on top of my head. I'm thinking. I am. I'm thinking. So, one of my friends commented on this. His name's Alan. He said, "Awesome pick on the left. Needs wrinkle cream." And so I had to respond to him. "Your dyslexia is kicking in, dear. But I will clarify, my artistic representation is about the thought process and how it wears on me at times, So, just so you know that the picture on the right is me actually sitting on the toilet brainstorming. So, there you go. So, and that's where I came up with actually Brian had called me at the time, Brian Trumbull, and had told me that the Trump administration is revoking healthcare protection for transgender people, which is topic number one that we're going to be discussing. Also, me and Cindy had talked about, since they're reopening, we're in phase 3 here in Los Angeles, and we're reopening up, we are going to start talking about maybe stating, disclosing, I'm not quite sure what we should be disclosing, but disclosing, and how to stay safe in the aftermath of all of this. And what I mean by not only do I mean staying safe from COVID, but staying safe from these police officers that are so disrespectful. I know I have gone to great lengths. I have changed my name. Not only have I changed my name on my ID, but I have changed my name on my birth certificate. I changed the marker, my sex on my birth certificate. So you can go back in history and in time, and I have erased all of that. Now, from my understanding, Donnie there is getting ready to prevent that from happening for future transgenders. I don't know, but if you girls are getting your paperwork in order, I'd get that stuff done right away. And I know here in Los Angeles, they have a legal clinic that will help you do that step by step. And see, I was born in a different state. So, of course, it was a little bit more difficult for me because I had to hire an attorney in the state of Florida to change the marker and the name. And he asked me, he says, would you like your father removed from your birth certificate? And I said, yes, please. He really, I mean, outside of being the sperm donor in the situation, he marred me with never being happy about my choice in life. And I'm sure many of us deal with parental issues about our family not being happy about our choices in life. I don't know. Is your mom happy about your choice?
I haven't really talked to my mom about it.
Not that it's her business.
You know, because I just, I gotta. My whole thing is, I want to honor and respect myself. My whole thing is that I don't want my transition to be more harmful, than it really needs to be. You know what I mean? Like, if I see her, then yes. But you know what? Like, I just don't want to be inflicting pain. Like, it's just, I've got to think, because me and my mother's relationship is absolutely, it's great the way it is right now. And, I do honor, how my mother feels. And I think there will come a time when I have it. I don't know, maybe other girls, I have that, but coming from a black family, I don't know, it's very hard, and I want to be conscious of that, and I just don't want to inflict more harm than necessary, but if it comes in, like, she has to come down and stuff like that, then we'll have to have that conversation. But
so you think that this is a black family thing, huh?
I think so.
Oh, no. I don't know. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I grew up with a very Cuban machismo father, and honey, I was a jagged little pill. I was not going to let this man rest with his uncomfortability. You're uncomfortable about it? Well, good for you, because you make me feel just as uncomfortable about me making that choice. That was the way I felt about it. I do not know where and how I developed the kind of courage that I had to stand up to him. And maybe I didn't develop the kind of courage that I needed to stand up to him, because eventually what I did at the age of 13 was I ran away from home. I became a street kid. And I said, peace out. You've got too many rules. I think I'd do better on my own. And he laughed at me. He said, you'll be back when you're hungry. 6 months later, the only reason I came back home was because Child Protective Services dragged me back home. And they informed my father. They told him, just so you know something, your son had an apartment, had food, the electricity was on. By the way, he prostitutes and blackmails elderly men for his money. My father looked at me completely different from that day forward. never cared about me in the way that he cared for my sister. Didn't have discussions about what am I up to, if I'm being safe, nothing. The love that there was a difference. The love that was directed towards my sister was not reciprocated and equal to the love that was given towards me. I couldn't even ask him for $1. Nor would I bother, but I couldn't.
You know, and the thing about it, I think my mother already knows. Because
well,
the only thing is like
intuitively, I'm sure she does.
Like when I call her, she asked me, why does your number come up as Cindy Davis? I was like, I was like, I don't even know how to answer that. Like,
well, you're too pretty to be called anything else. But
I was like, well, mother, Cindy, my last name is Davis, like, and you know I don't like women. So, like, you know,
she knows the deal.
I think she knows, but like, I'm not going to like, you know, unless it's absolutely necessary. And I was driving down Western one day, and I ran into one of my mother's old friends.
Uh-huh.
And didn't they call my mother? And I know they told her everything.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. So, you know, and the only thing that I can really say is that, you know, that maybe as for me being who I am, I'm an honorable, I'm a respectable transgender who suits up and shows up. I go to work. I am honored and respected in my community. Right, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I tell my mother these things that, you know, I'm in school, you know, I'm a manager at a call center, you know, I'm making good money. I'm taking care of myself. You know, I don't need anybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I
think that those, even though she may in the back of her mind, she might want to be in denial, at least she'll have the comfort of knowing that, you know what, I'm all right.
That's important.
Yeah. That
is important.
She can sleep at night knowing that I'm sober and I'm all right, you know? And that's what's important. You know what I mean?
That is.
And I might call her tonight. We might have a discussion tonight about Trump.
Oh, is she a Trump?
No, she hates Trump.
Oh, okay.
Like,
good.
she's all the way Biden. Like, we have some, like, I can talk to my mother for, like, almost an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I talk to her until I'm tired. I'm like, Mother, I gotta go. You know, and it's like, it's that type of relationship that I don't want to be so selfish and be like, you know what, I have to be, you know, a certain type of way. You know, it has to be, you know what, if the relationship is fine, you know, let it just be, you know, and I'm okay with that, you know.
Right. Well, there's no rules that say you have to disclose and tell. Listen, you don't want Mama telling you about her sex life, do you?
Oh, good God, no.
Okay. Then. There's no rule that says you got to tell Mama. You know, didn't Etta James used to sing a song, "Tell Mama"? Tell Mama about it. Yeah. Yes. I love me some Etta James. But anyway, so you know, so these are some interesting things. You know, family. You know, I always say you gotta love your family. You just don't have to like them very much. You know, and I've been trying to repair a relationship with my sister. Now, my sister knows everything. When I dropped that tea that I had the sex change. You know, that I had. My mom and dad are dead, so I can't believe one thing. If they were alive, I would let them know, because I love shocking people. I think if you shock easily, you should be shocked more often. Just a rule of thumbs with me. I just think that, you know. So I would have called Mom from the hospital bed, and the surgery was successful, and she says, "Oh, surgery? What surgery?" I said, "I got a vagina, Mom." You know, I would have told her right away. She'd have been one of the first phone calls. That and followed by Dad. I wouldn't have given her enough time to tell Dad. I would call Dad right afterwards. You know, so that's the kind of individual that I am. You know, but I did. You know, I told my sister and I told my aunt. Now, I remember when I told my sister, she said, gotta go, and hung up the phone. And I didn't hear back from her for like several months later. You know, fine. When I told my aunt, there was this long period of silence. Not just like a 10-second silence. I would say like a 3-minute kind of silence. And I said, Dia, are you still there? And she says, yes, I'm here. She says, well, if you're happy, I'm happy for you. You know? And for me, I would kind of like to think, because she, was so close with my mother, that would have been the response that my mother would have given me. But my father would have hung up the phone. He would have done like my sister did. Gotta go. Checked out on me. Whatever. You know. And my sister has acknowledged that I am dead to her. That Frankie, the person I was, is dead to her. And I said, that's okay. That person died decades ago. I told her that. That person died decades ago. That person hasn't been in existence for a very, very long time. You know? And I said, and finally, I have had the opportunity to live a more authentic life, and a more authentic me, and a very happy me. You know? So here I am. I'm at this happy stage in my life, and nobody to share it with. Are you facing the same dilemma? Nobody to share it with. Now, I don't know if I would be interested in a husband. Are you interested in a husband? Is that what you...
Yes.
You want a husband. I might not be interested in a husband. I say, why have one when you can have them all? You know? So, it may be that fear of commitment for me, you know? I happen to know the kind of men that I tend to date. I date scoundrels. Number one. Same thing with the women that I date. I've dated women too. Scoundrels, you know? And so I have to review the way that I pick individuals, you know? Even when I picked the dog, the dog was broken. This dog, when I picked this dog out of the kennel, he was broken. He wasn't the friendly dog that came and took the treat from my hand. I threw the treat in his kennel. I came back the next day, he hadn't eaten the treat. You know? So I get the one that just doesn't like things. Doesn't like people, you know? And that was the first thing that sparked in my head. Oh, you're broken. And what do I think? I can fix you. That's what I do. I rummage, you know, for brokenness. So...
You know, I haven't been in a relationship in, oh, good God, it's been, goodness. My last was, almost like 9 years ago? It's been a long time. You know, and I don't even know what, if I'm on a date, I don't even know, like, is this a date? I think I was like, you know, I don't even really even know, you know what I mean?
If you're actually dating. Huh?
Yeah. And for the longest time, like, I didn't experience a second date. Like, I don't even know, I didn't even know what that was like, you know? And, because, you know, when it comes to being transgender, it's a whole, you know, I'm used to guys only coming at me in one way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They want sex. Like, that is all. And I've really had to kind of almost come to that level. You know what I mean? And then now being a post-op, there's this thing of, you know, well, now when I tell them, after we're having this conversation, then I tell them that I have the you know, then it just stays there. You know what I mean? Oh, well, is it functioning? Is it, does it get, like, and it stays on sex. And it is just so, it has been the most discouraging and dishonorable and disrespectful thing that I have ever had to really experience. You know what I mean? I want them to come up and be like, okay, that's great, you have a pussy. Well, what's your favorite color? Like,
you're not going to get that out of men.
Well,
you're not. You know who you're gonna get. You know who you're gonna get that out of. You know who you're gonna get that out of. You're gonna get that out of Mr. Right. And you're gonna have to go through a shit ton of Mr. Wrongs before you find Mr. Right. You know. And I'm gonna tell you another thing about men. Men are notorious for lying. Just women equally, because we'll put our best foot forward, okay? And we can keep up that lie and that facade for about 9 months. So I'm going to suggest something. When you date somebody, you date them, you get in it for the long haul. Because after 9 months, then all of a sudden, the little lies come to light.
You know, it's something that's been very helpful for me is that I made my list of like ideals that I want because my ticker's fucked up, you know.
Yeah.
And
mine too.
You know, like one of the things like I want is like he must have a job. Like I don't want somebody that you know.
Oh, you don't want somebody unemployed? Oh my God! You don't want a little houseboy? No. Okay.
You know, someone that can make me laugh. Someone
Okay.
who doesn't use me for sex. Someone who enjoys my company.
Oh, okay.
You
Does he
know?
have to be your age? Oh. No. Okay.
Someone who has been with me in the daytime, in the public.
Ooh. Well, that's to be expected.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be nobody's secret.
Yeah.
Someone who I feel is an equivalent, you know, like someone who has a job, who has a bank account, who has a car, who has, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want that, you know, and it feels like it's, like, hard to find, you know, someone is open about their feelings.
Wow.
You know, like, and I have this, like, posted up in my apartment, you know, so whenever I, you know, I'm talking to somebody, because a lot of times a lot of guys will get this three-word response from it. You know, like I don't like I'm not going to try and like open up, be like, oh well, I like to go to movies and concerts, and I like to go hiking, and you know, I like traveling. I'm not going to do all that. Like, well, I like to go. You know, I have this. You know, because I'm used to so many guys just, you know. And like you said, you know, I hope that, you know, Mr. Right, that'll be like, okay.
See, for me, that particular list kind of sounded a little suffocating for me. You know the kind of guy that I want? Okay, I want the kind of guy that's got his own life and his own world. You know, where he's doing things on his own.
Yeah.
I don't want to be anybody's mother. You know? And I don't want anybody underneath my feet, you know, trying to, you know, do things for me and stuff like that. So that would be important that they have their own life and that they would make time for me because I tend to be busy. I would make time for them. And because see, I don't want one of those 24-hour kind of relationships. And I think that's what you're looking for.
Because I'm busy. We're busy. We're busy girls. You know, like you know.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't be able to stand it. It would drive me up the wall.
Yeah.
If he was just underfoot that way,
You know,
I couldn't do it.
Like, don't you like the cute little things, like you know, like sending like.
I like diamonds.
I mean,
girl, I like diamonds.
Those,
Let's not play.
Cute little things, you know, like oh, I'm thinking about you. You know, like send me a text throughout the day, like you know what I'm thinking.
Okay.
You know, I was just thinking about you, and you know, send a fucking text. You know, like little things like that brighten up someone's day. You know what I mean?
Okay, I don't mind the text. You know, most of the time these phones I have to shut them off because as you see, you know, the little messages start popping up and the little text messages start. Yeah. It gets overwhelming to me, and I walk away from it. And you should see the emails. You know. On a daily basis, you know, over 1,000 emails. I'm not quite sure what people are trying to sell me, you know. I don't know. I do know right at the moment though, Truia is trying to sell me a home, and I'm hoping that real soon here I'm going to figure this thing out with YouTube and Peloton and get me some donors and start. Maybe selling a product of some sort. I don't know what product, but something, you know. And I've been watching that T.S. Madison.
Oh, I love her.
Oh my God! What she has done is changing the transgender industry tremendously. You know, and so I'm trying to model something. I can't be anything like her, but I can certainly find my own niche and my own corner of the sky. Remember Diana Ross, Corner of the Sky?
Yeah.
She did the beautiful song. Anyway, so I can find my own corner of the sky and find my own niche and do something in that respect, and hopefully get that together, and you know, it will come together like the Beatles, come together. Yes. So, but see, we've got nothing going on here on. I don't know how to get this the YouTube thing. I've got. There's something I've got to do something with this. You know, I do. Like I said, it does pop up. You know, the aftermath of it later shows up, but right at the moment,
The wall. Yeah. If he was just under.
right at the moment, it's not taking off like it does here on Facebook. You know, and I get the analytics. Let me see the analytics. The analytics are different because, see, it says I'm live now, and there's one person. Oh, I'm probably the one person watching. One person is watching, you know. So that's gonna have to change. So, but so if I go to the playlist, some of them will tell me where is the analytics, trending channels, videos. Let's see, maybe the videos. Here we go. This little son of a bitch. Look at him. Episode 5, 112 views. He has outdone. My little beau has outdone us on every single other. There's no other video that has gotten that many views. 22 views, 13 views, 22, 25. Let's see. 22, 34, 39. Me giving him a bath. See, people were interested in that. And my burrito, making burritos, 33 views, 41 views, me doing laundry. Me doing laundry, that's what you guys are interested in. Me doing laundry, walking the damn dog, and making burritos. That's seems to be my niche, my corner of the sky at the moment, you know? But I couldn't believe that. I woke up one morning, I went to bed, and he had maybe 8 or 9 views. I wake up the next day, there was 112 views. I was like, what the hell? So I'm trying to sell his poop now. So I think I did one of, let's see, where is it that we posted his, we're trying to sell his poop. Here it is. It takes a village to pee and poop. So if you go to It Takes a Village to Pee and Poop, you'll see we're trying to sell Baudelaire's poop. $5 a bag. So that's my little corner, you know, that's my little niche. So,
Well,
and I'm going to be changing this. I'm going to make a new banner and change this. And so, yeah, I'm doing stuff. Let me get this Palmdale hanging thing down. That, to me, that's just so depressing. I cannot believe that is what's going on. So, I mean, you know, back in the day when I used to date, you know, I would just run an ad, you know, and it was very, very simple, you know, because they would come over. Now, I was always very, very leery about being investigated by Vice. So, you know, I'd never ask for any money up front, you know, and they'd say, well, honey, how much? And I says, well, today's your lucky day, Daddy. I'm looking for a husband. Means I want half of everything you got. You know, but I was always very talented with my conversation in dealing with men. And I believe one thing. If what he wants from me is to climb on top of me and pound me and use me in that manner, I'm going to know about it and I'm going to be done with him right away. Because I'm not looking for that in a relationship. While I do want a sexual relationship with a man, I want so much more going on with a man, you know? And it is very, very important that this man that I might engage in this sexual relationship with have some type of life, that he isn't some hustler out there. Because if you guys are paying attention to my Facebook page, you see I'm getting proposals, I'm getting kisses, I'm getting all kinds of stuff all the time, you know? And so I'm grateful that between YouTube and Facebook, any obscene stuff gets pulled down, but some has slipped through, and some of you on Messenger, naughty, 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 you've been slipping me some very obscene stuff, you know?
Don't get me wrong, like I do like
some of it's interesting though.
I do like the bad boys, you know. Like, I like a little rough edge to them, you know. Like, you know, I do like that. But like not always the bad boys are really the best thing for me, you know. So it's just, you know, I don't know. Maybe I just, you know, I'm not really dating. Like it's gonna have to happen when it happens, you know.
Right.
Because it's just a whole package of things, you know. Because I want the whole deal, you know. Like, you know, we put a lot of work. Like I put a lot of work into myself, you know. I've stayed sober almost 10 years, you know, and I built my life up, you know, to be able to enjoy it with somebody that is, you know, that complements my life. You know what I mean?
I get it.
And
most definitely.
As hard as it is sometimes, like I just pray and I'm like, look, God, whatever you want in this situation, I'm gonna have to invite you in, because, you know, it's out of my, you know.
Well, you know, as far as the type of man that I'm looking for, you know, that there's only two types: foreign and domestic. I don't care, you know. But I'm looking, you know. I don't know if I'm really looking. That's the problem. I don't know if I'm really looking, you know. I've got a vibrator in there that can last longer than any man I've ever known with double D batteries. It's just, you know, it will go and go and go, you know. And but you know, like I said, he's going to have to be an interesting kind of character. He's going to have a life of his own. He's going to have to be able to look at me and say, I'm busy, but I'll make time, and, you know, that I can appreciate, you know. I don't mind waiting, you know. I like the whole idea of people having lives, you know. Because, see, I see so many guys out here that don't have a life, and that are readily available, and that approach me while I'm walking the dog and have nothing better to do but chit-chat and talk to me. And I'm like, you know, I'm busy. I've got, you, like earlier today, I got a phone call from somebody, and, you know, while I do take the time to talk to individuals, I had to let her know, I'm busy. Today is film day, and I've got things to take care of. And you see, I did it in a pinch, didn't I? Mm-hmm. I pulled through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for him to have his own life, you know, and is doing his own thing, you know.
And Emmanuel, there is a market for sure. For what? What's in the market? Anyway, I'll wait on that response there. Emmanuel does. There's a market for it for sure. I think he's talking about dog poo.
Oh.
I'm so surprised that people get stuck on that, you know. But it's probably why Bo got 100. Doesn't that kind of floor you? He got 112 views. Ha! It's just I was so floored by that, you know. My lucky little baby. He's been so good today. He really has. You know. So, and usually, you know what else I forgot to do? Usually I post this on some of the groups that I belong to, and I forgot to do that today, like trans life, trans kind, that kind of stuff. But and today was the Gay Pride Parade that was going on. Are you friends with Glenn Allen?
Yeah.
He yesterday he was doing where he was riding around and stuff like that, and I love him. He's so cute. He's a transvestite. There's a difference, and he does not mind being called a drag queen. So there you go. There's a lot of politically incorrect language going on in the gay community, and I think that once the CMA convention is back on, that we're going to be doing an educational thing on that, and so we'll have a workshop at the convention, and so we'll try and see if we can figure out a way of filming that live on the Bougie Duchess, and we'll also have our dear girlfriend Desiree, and we're going to do it in historical segments. So I'm going to represent an era where women of our type were all known as drag queens, which back in the day that was there was renamed as All Black Lives Matter March. There was a rename.
Yeah, because right now it seems like the Black Lives Matter movement and the LGBT community is starting to merge together, which is powerful.
I see. Okay.
Because that's something that we've been talking about is, Black Lives Matter, but do they matter if they're LGBT? You know what I mean? And that's why they did this thing on Hollywood Boulevard, All Black Lives Matter. Like, it's everybody. And we need to know that we're fighting for everybody within the black community. It's very important. Have it being a transgender, whether it's
Well,
whatever.
I think this would be a good way for the LGBTQ to segue into the black community and say, now listen, you cannot be beating up on black transgender women. That is a no-no. I mean, it would be helpful to re-educate in that particular department, but who knows, So that's, I think that's a wonderful thing. It's getting kind of breezy all of a sudden. I'm constantly influenced by the elements. This is Mother Nature. She's my higher power. I welcome her into my home all the time, and it's a wonderful thing. So, but anyway, so. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? I'm having one of those elderly. Oh, the elderly moment. Yes, the workshop. The workshop. So we're going to break it up into 3 segments where I will represent the old school and how we got called transgender women, started being called drag queens, and we just let it slide. And then Desiree will represent the newer individuals that say, hold it, that's not nice. And then Cindy will represent the generation that it's not acceptable. So we will be educating on 3 different levels of how this transition happened. Correct? Am I correct in assuming that that's what we're going to be doing with the workshop?
Because it's, we all transition at different times, and I started transitioning in 2003 when I was 20.
I see.
And I was all on the, out on, Santa Monica. Like, that's how I started transitioning, hanging out with the girls. And so I can just talk
1976 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach.
Yeah.
That's where I started transitioning.
Yeah.
305.
So, it's going to be a very educational, and then how is it that, we can deal with prejudice within our own LGBT community. You know what I mean? When it comes to, and I've been one to say, like, I'm just so tired of having to educate people. Like, damn, respect is respect. Like, how much, it's common sense. But unfortunately, we have to, because after a while, it's like, look, we tired of,
Well, I'm going to tell you something about stupidity. It knows no bounds. It keeps reproducing, idiocy all the time. And the same thing about education and getting smart. It knows no bounds, So, and I'm going to tell you something about staying teachable. Open minds learn. Closed minds never get fed. It's a sad situation, but it is what it is. And I do believe that through these protests and march, what it does is it brings to attention people that are ignorant of other individuals' struggle. It brings that to their attention. Doesn't necessarily change too much, but it brings it to their attention. And if nothing else, if they become sensitive to the struggle, it's a step forward instead of a step back, and that's all I'm really looking forward for. I'm not looking for a welcome mat on every doorstep, because I get it. There's always going to be stupidity. There's always going to be hatred. There's always going to be somebody that sees the world from a different corner. That's absolutely fine. I can respect that. What I cannot respect is these lynchings that are going on, the knee on the neck, all of this violence. I personally don't like it, and I'm not crazy about the right to bear arms in our Constitution. We have to do something about de-arming America and the rest of the world. I just don't understand this whole need to be killing each other. I respect life. I don't care if it's a black life, a white life, an Asian life, an Australian life. I don't care if you're from Oceania, which is the entire Pacific region. I don't care. All lives matter to me, and they should not be extinguished at the hands of another individual. I do not like war. These things are messy and unpredictable. I do not like terrorism or terrorist attacks. I like for the freedom of expression and idea to flourish. That's just me. I'm a peculiar bird. I sit in a peculiar tree, here in the middle of Van Nuys somewhere. I'm trying to spread a little bit of love. I hope you guys find a little bit of love. It is 12:59. It is time for us to say goodbye. Goodbye. I love you, all of my little duchies out there. Take care.